A king is shown at the beginning, the king of Persia. He has 2 sons and a brother named Nisam. The brothers live together harmoniously. One day, while Nisam and the king are traveling with their soldiers, a child appears before them. A soldier trips over the child and beats him severely. The child's friend arrives, rescues him, and tries to flee, but the soldiers capture him. Brought before the king, the boy reveals his name, Dstan. When asked about his family, he says, "I am an orphan." The king said, "You are bold and kind-hearted. Will you be my 3rd son?" Dstan takes the king's hand, officially becoming his son. 15 years pass. The brothers grow into young men with their uncle Nisam still by their side. Together, they plan to attack a city that supplies weapons to their enemies. Dstan volunteers to lead the attack, but the eldest prince refuses. "You are the youngest. I will go first." Defiant, Dstan sneaks into the fort with his childhood friend, the same boy rescued earlier, and a few soldiers. He opened gate for his brothers follow, joining the battle. The city's princess, Tamina, is then seen. She hands a dagger to her trusted attendant, commanding, "Guard this. It must not be lost." The attendant leaves with this promise, but Dstan ambushes him outside and steals the dagger. Dstan and his group proceed to an ancient temple where Tamina is present. Nisam accuses her, "Your people supply weapons to our enemies." Tamina protests, "You're mistaken. Our holy city has no weapon makers. We despise war." No one believes her, and the crowd demands her execution. The king's eldest son intervenes, proposing to Tamina, "Marry me and you'll be safe as part of our family." She initially refuses, "I'd rather die," but changes her mind upon seeing her dagger in Dstan's possession. Celebrations begin, but the king reprimands his eldest son, "I'm furious. You attacked a holy city without my consent." The prince vows, "I won't return until I prove their weapon trade," and departs, entrusting Dstan with a royal suit for the king and a message, "Inform father I'm marrying Tamina." Dstan escorts Princess Tamina to the king to seek formal approval for the marriage. Dstan presents the dress to his father, who feels excitement seeing it. He then introduces Tamina to the king, saying, "This is my brother's choice. He wishes to marry her." The king replies, "He already has many wives. You remain unmarried and your age demands it. I command you to wed the princess." Blushing, Dstan leaves. As he departs, the king's body suddenly burns. The dress was poisoned. Suspicion falls on Dstan, especially since the dress was sent by the king's eldest son. In the chaos, Dstan's childhood friend is killed. Tamina rushes to Dstan, urging, "We must flee. Your own men hunt you now." They escape just as the king dies. News reaches the eldest son. Later on the way, Dstan explains to Tamina, "I didn't gift that dress. My brother did. Be grateful you didn't marry him." But Tamina's true motive emerges, to reclaim her dagger. She attacks Dstan with a sword, wounding him. When Dstan's blood touches the dagger, he's flung seconds back in time, just before Tamina strikes. He grabs her wrist, shouting, "Don't draw that sword." Confused, Tamina asks, "When did I draw it?" Dstan insists, "I saw everything." Realizing, Tamina gasps, "You used the dagger. Now its magic is spent, who will replenish its sand?" Now Dstan says, "I have to reveal everything to my uncle, Nisam, because his brother is no longer in this world." He rides off on his horse to find him. But Tamina warns, "The path you're taking is extremely dangerous." Dstan replies, "I don't care." Tamina decides to go with him. On the way, she feels thirsty and suddenly pretends to faint. Dstan rushes to her and asks, "What happened?" Tamina picks up a ball nearby, distracts him, grabs the dagger and strikes at his head, knocking him out. When Dstan regains consciousness, he finds himself surrounded by people. Their leader, Sheikh, says, "You're in our custody now. If you value your life, you'll have to pay something in return." Dstan tells them, "A princess is going ahead of us." They ride off on their horses to catch her. Dstan seizes the chance, snatches the dagger, and hands Tamina over to them. Sheikh returns to his place with his men, but he still hasn't released Dstan. Soon, Sheikh discovers that Dstan is the king's son, the one accused of killing his own father. A large reward has been offered for whoever turns him in. Meanwhile, Tamina, who has been left in charge of the ostriches, opens their cages. The ostriches scatter in all directions, causing chaos. Seizing the opportunity, Dstan and Tamina escape together. They disguise themselves and leave the area, eventually arriving at Nisam's residence with a few others. Dstan approaches Nisam and says, "Trust me, I didn't kill my father. Nisam responds calmly, yes, I know. Dstan hands him the dagger's cover. But Nisam says, this is just the cover. The dagger itself is missing. That's when Dstan realizes Tamina must have taken the dagger again and fled. Then Dstan notices burn marks on Nizam's hands, the same kind of burns the king had when his robe caught fire. He suddenly understands the truth. It was Nizam who poisoned the king's robe. No one else could have done it, only his own brother. Nizam realizes that Dstan has discovered the truth about his evil deeds. So he orders his soldiers to capture him. But Dstan manages to escape, slipping past the guards. As he reaches outside, his elder brother ambushes and grabs him. However, Dstan manages to break free once again. He calls out, I didn't kill the king. The real killer will reveal himself soon. Meanwhile, Nizam approaches the king's eldest son and says, Dstan came here to kill me. No one knows what he's capable of, he could kill you all. Seize him immediately. But the king's son doesn't believe him. So Nizam secretly visits the gang leader and says, I have a job for you. Bring me that dagger and Dstan. Now the criminal sets out once again to find Dstan, having been manipulated by Nizam. On the other side, Dstan searches for Tamina and eventually finds her. He retrieves the dagger from her and asks, Tamina, why do you want this dagger so badly? What's so special about it? Tamina explains. Nizam wants to take the dagger to change the past. He plans to go back in time and replace his brother to become king. You nearly made a terrible mistake by handing him the dagger. She adds, that's why I need to return the dagger to its rightful place, before it's too late. Dstan replies, so that's the truth. I'll help you. Together they set off, determined and hopeful, to return the dagger to where it belongs. Sheik appears as they take a short rest before moving forward. He says to them, my ostriches ran away because of both of you. Who will pay for my loss now? Suddenly they hear a strange sound. Meanwhile, the criminal is still chasing them. That night, everyone goes to sleep. During the night, the criminal releases several snakes to attack the group. One of Sheik's special attendants sees one of the snakes and is confused. Then Dstan hits the snake with a burning piece of wood, killing it and saving the attendant. Impressed, the man gives Dstan a dagger so he can kill the remaining snakes. Dstan begins killing the other snakes, rescuing Sheik and the others. Sheik is very pleased and says to Dstan, I forgive you. You can go wherever you want to go. Sheik begins his journey back, parting ways with Tamina and Dstan. But then Tamina calls out, Sheik, we will need your help. It may not be safe for us to go alone where we're heading. Sheik replies, I have many other matters to attend to. Tamina responds, I know you're looking for money, and where we're going you might find a lot of it. Tempted by the idea of wealth, Sheik agrees to join them again. As they prepare to leave, Dstan's elder brother, the second son of the king, arrives. He confronts Dstan saying, you killed our father. You were never loyal. Dstan gives the dagger to Tamina and says, you go ahead, I'll come. Then he turns to his brother and says, brother, I didn't kill our father. This is all Nizam's doing. He wants the throne and he'll kill you too if he has to. No one sees it but he will do it. But his brother does not believe him. Then the criminal arrives and starts attacking Dstan's brothers. On his way back, he also attacks the king's eldest son, knocking him out. Meanwhile, Tamina reaches the temple. As she is about to place the dagger in its rightful spot, the same criminal appears from behind and attacks her with an iron tool, killing her. He then moves toward Dstan. Tamina loses consciousness and the dagger slips from her hand. A snake, belonging to the criminal, swallows the dagger and slithers back to its master, returning it. Now the criminal is about to kill Dstan. At that moment, the king's second eldest son, Dstan's older brother, finally understands the truth. He picks up a spear from nearby and thrusts it into the criminal's stomach, killing him instantly. However, in the process he also injures himself badly. Before dying he says to Dstan, my brother, I believe you now. Protect our kingdom. You can do it. Dstan and Tamina are both devastated, they've lost the dagger. But then they see the same snake that had swallowed the dagger. It delivers it back to its owner, who tears the snake open and retrieves the dagger, handing it directly to Nisam. Later, Dstan buries his brother with honor. He tells Sheik, we will return to take back that dagger. One of Sheik's special attendants says, we should help them. Sheik agrees and together they all head toward Nisam, to take back the dagger.
Now Nisam and his men are searching for the magical sand, the one that can be inserted into the dagger to reverse time. But even after digging deeply, they're unable to find it. It seems they're not destined to possess it. Outside the temple, Sheik's special attendant declares, I am the strongest. I will retrieve that dagger myself. They knock out all the guards outside the temple, and the attendant sneaks in. But the criminal throws a knife, striking him in the chest. He's badly wounded, but survives. Despite the injury, the attendant fights back and throws a weapon at the criminal. It hits the target perfectly, ending the criminal once and for all. However, during the struggle, the attendant was also struck by the criminal's poisoned nails. Even so, with incredible courage, he picks up the dagger and throws it outside to Sheik. Meanwhile, Dstan confronts his elder brother. Holding a sword to his brother's neck, he says, Brother, be wise. Think about it. Nisam is the one who murdered our father. His brother replies, Are you mad? Why would our uncle do that? Dstan answers, Who else could it be? He's the only one who stood to gain. He killed the king, our father, so he could take the throne himself. Now it makes sense why he wants the dagger. He plans to add the magical sand to it and travel back in time, to become king by replacing our father. Dstan's brother says, I'm not going to fall for your nonsense. Take that story somewhere else. Dstan replies, Why would I make up such a story? His brother snaps, Because you want to kill me too. You want to be king. Dstan says calmly, No, brother. I don't want to kill you. Look, I'd rather kill myself to prove it. Just press the dagger's button after I do. Then you'll see the truth for yourself. At that very moment, Nisam arrives. Dstan's brother stops him, shouting, Don't take another step until I say so. He then presses the dagger's jewel, activating its power. Time rewinds to the moment just before Dstan stabs himself. This time, his brother stops him and says, My brother. I believe you now. He's finally seen the truth, but Nisam, furious at what he sees, lashes out and slits the throat of Dstan's elder brother. He then charges at Dstan, attempting to kill him with the same dagger. Tamina arrives just in time, distracting Nisam and giving Dstan an opening. Dstan takes the chance and defeats him. Meanwhile, Nisam had already retrieved the magical sand and the dagger. But Tamina and Dstan find another way in and reach him. The path is unstable beneath them, crumbling as they walk. Still, Dstan moves forward steadily. Suddenly, it's revealed that the criminal isn't dead, he's still alive. He commands his snake to attack them, but Dstan and Tamina cleverly turn the tables, making the snake strike its master, piercing him in the eye. The venom ends him once and for all. Dstan and Tamina finally reach Nisam, hoping to stop him. But Nisam stabs Dstan, leaving him wounded, and forcefully pushes Tamina away. As she begins to fall, Dstan grabs her hand and saves her. Tamina, holding back her tears, says, Let me go, Dstan. You must stop Nisam. It's the only way. With a heavy heart, Dstan lets go of her hand to fulfill his duty. He rushes toward Nisam, but it's almost too late. Nisam has already thrust the dagger into the mountain of magical sand. Time begins to reverse rapidly, pulling Nisam into the distant past, but Dstan manages to yank the dagger out just in time, halting the time travel. Suddenly, Dstan finds himself far back in time. At the moment after he won the war over Tamina's city. All his family members are still alive. Realizing this is his second chance, Dstan gathers his brothers and tells them everything, about Nizam's betrayal, the dagger, and the attempt to alter history. When Nisam realizes he's about to be exposed, he launches a final attack on Dstan. But the king's eldest son steps in and kills Nisam by stabbing him, ending the threat for good. Later, Dstan's brother approaches Princess Tamina, apologizing for the attack on her holy city. He then asks her to marry Dstan. Their marriage is celebrated joyfully. At last, they return the dagger to its rightful place. The movie ends here.